Welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we have our guest on, Jennifer from Snapdragon Quilting. Hi, Jennifer. How's it going today?
I'm great. How are you, Brenda?
Awesome, awesome. Yes, we're just having a lot of fun in our sewing room here this morning already. So, yeah, so are you. And that quilt behind you is just stunning. Is that one of your designs?
It is, and I just finished it yesterday.
Oh, wow. And it's okay, are you gotta let me know. Are you piecing it by the row? Or is it
Yes,
just Y seams? Yes.
no Y seams. No, it is
Okay.
all constructed in rows. You are a smart woman.
Yeah, that is a beautiful quilt. That's a beautiful technique to do by rows. Yeah, it's so much easier than trying to do all those Y seams back and forth. Yeah,
Yeah,
really
not worth
pretty.
it.
So Jennifer, I have a whole bunch of questions for you, but I think what I want to start out with is, do you want what kind of things you want to talk about, like with your quilting journey that you've been on, when you started, when did you start quilting, as a kid or teen or an adult, where's your quilting journey at, and where are you at right now?
So I'm really lucky. I come from families that have a lot of sewers on both sides. And so when I was really little, my mom remembers me just begging her, teach me to sew, teach me to sew. And so she did. She sat me down. So I grew up sewing, clothing and costumes, doll clothes, bags, that kind of thing. But I didn't really understand what quilting was until my second baby was born. And he just wanted to wake up with the sun every single morning. And so I would sneak downstairs with him and we'd turn on PBS because I was young and poor at the time and didn't have cable. We had an antenna. And Alex Anderson was on. And her show Simply Quilts, where she brought on all different kinds of creators and they talked about the quilts that they made and the techniques they used. And it just opened up this whole world for me. And I saw quilts in a whole new way. To me, all of a sudden, it was art. It was something that was engaging. And before, it was just, why are people making blankets? I didn't really get it. Um, and so I just went in like full force. I bought a long arm. I started long arming for people. And I didn't really follow patterns. I would read a lot of patterns, but I just would make whatever I felt like making. And I would sketch and then just turn it into a quilt. Um, and back then that seed was planted that I had a really good friend who had a book published and she saw what I was doing and she said, Jen, you've got to write a book. But I was busy. I was raising kids. I was long arming. I was working as a registered nurse at the time. And so we'd started, but it never happened. But I'm really lucky because a few years ago, I was able to step away from my career in healthcare and start this journey that I've been wanting to do for 19 years. So I just feel so lucky to be here and to get to play with fabric and create new designs and be surrounded by amazing people while I'm doing it.
Yeah, my thing is, I'm happy I'm covered in thread every day. That's a good day. That,
You saw me pull a thread off my shirt right before we started.
yeah, I try and wear stuff where the thread doesn't stick as much anymore because I'm dragging little thread bits everywhere in the house. But yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, isn't that very, very true? You need to have time to sit and quilt. I'm retired now 11 years, and I've made more quilts in these last 11 years than I probably did in my lifetime. But yes,
That's
you need
amazing.
the time to play. You need the
You
time to have
do.
fun and touch your fabric and watch how many. So exactly, you've been, okay, how long have you been quilting?
So that baby that watched Alex Anderson with me, he's now 19. So 19 years.
Oh, wow. Very,
hmm
very cool. So yeah, Alex Anderson has some really lovely ideas, and her books too are just like wow. So
I love her.
yeah. Now, what sparks your creative adventure? Like, what sparks your creativity? Is it color? Is it designers? Is it like playing with patterns? Is it mosaic pie? Like, what's your spark? Where do you get your spark from?
I think what has kept me making quilts and designing quilts for so long is just possibility. So you can take one block and turn it, or you can put contrast in a different place, and it just creates this whole new design. And then learning how to design on my computer makes it even faster because now I can throw different colors in and I can move things around without having to actually sew the project and see how it turns out, or sit down and color it and see how it turns out. I wake up in the mornings and I just want to run to my computer and start playing with new design.
Yeah, I know. I have an EQ8 program that I finally figured out how to use, and I play around with that. And I my one of my speaking engagements that I do is elements of design. So you take a standard blocking, start changing the corners or changing the sides or changing the middle. It's just it's always amazing what you end up with, just by changing one thing. But if you change a couple of things, you've got like this entirely new block, right? So yeah, yeah, the possibilities. Yeah, and the colors. I
Possibilities.
think the colors for me is like, I love playing with colors, and I've always like I did some beading and some, knitting and all this stuff. So I always love the colors of the work I was doing. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of things that can spark you.
And when I was long arming, you have people bring you quilts in color combinations you would never have chosen. And all of a sudden I was like falling in love with color because I just, I like blue and green. But now I love, there's so many possibilities with color. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's what was it? A 95-year-old woman told me one time, and I kind of laughed at it. She said, if you look hard enough and long enough, all of the colors appear together in nature, like in some combination. Look
I
hard enough,
like that.
right? And it's kind of like, well, yeah, I suppose they would, right? But it's kind of like, yeah, you have to look for it. So why did you open your quilt business again? Or your long arming business, or
Well, I was long arming because I was just obsessed with quilting and I wanted to know how to long arm. But I did that until I went back to school to be a nurse practitioner, and so I had sold my machine at the time. And so you asked why I started this business, and I think it's just because I love people, and so this gives me an opportunity to get out and talk to people and teach people. I love teaching classes. I travel all over and teach a lot. And so I'm really lucky that I have a husband who believes in me. And so when I stepped away from healthcare, he was so supportive. And he kind of talked about, like, Jen, it's like you served in the military. Like, you've done your time, you've done your service. It's okay to step away and do something else. And so I slept for 3 months because I was delivering babies. I was a nurse practitioner and a certified nurse midwife. So I was, seeing patients in the office, delivering babies, and physically it was just wearing me out.
yeah.
And so when I stopped, I slept for 3 months, and then all my creativity came back, and I've just been, diving in ever since.
Isn't it amazing though how our bodies will tell us to rest, and it's all of a sudden okay, I'll take the world's longest nap. And when did you start your YouTube channel? Because you also have a YouTube channel, right? That we're gonna post in the show notes below here. When
Yeah,
did you start that?
probably about a year and a half ago. I
Yeah.
needed some time to get some patterns written, so I actually had a product and kind of figure out my style and figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm going to show what's online because you have an online store, right? And for all your patterns so just let me share my screen here. Hang on, hang on. Okay. Can everybody see this screen now? Can you guys
Yeah.
see it? Yeah, okay. So now this is wait a minute here. Let's get our talking heads out of the way. So you have a shop where you have the digital quilt patterns, right?
Yep.
And we'll just click on that. Oops, where we go. And here are some of the beautiful examples, by the way, of all these cute little things that you do. Now, you also have like little yardage things, like you can, just run your mouse over, which I thought was really kind of a cool idea, so people can go, wow, I have already all of that in my stash, right? I like the bubble blocks or whatever that you're doing, the circles. I love that. And of
Thank
course, there's a whole bunch of other ones. This one is just The all together now, that one's beautiful, by the way.
That one's one of our most popular patterns.
Yes. And
Mhm.
that one is built on rows, right? Because it's hexagons, correct?
Exactly.
Yes, so beautiful.
Mhm.
So beautiful. Um,
Thank you.
I love the lollipops too. I just thought they were great. The mini moons, very cool, very cool. And like the half moons, the mini half moons. Yeah, mini moons quilt too. And then there's more about with your hexagons. Those are just gorgeous, those. And
Thank you.
then oh, we have look at this with the candy stripes or the peppermint swirls. I love that. This is nice too. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Oh, we have some beautiful ones. Tumbling blocks, that one's fun. That one looks fun. Very modern twist on that. And the thankful quilt block pattern has got some beautiful patterns in there. Okay, now what else do we have in here? We have shop, and of course you have like kits and retreat classes, notions, fabric bundles. I don't even want to click on the fabric bundles because I know I'll find something that's just amazing. But throw caution to the wind. Let's look. Let's look at the fabric bundles. Oh wow, I'm happy to see you doing a lot of solids. Those are pretty. Oh look at
I love solids.
they've got oh you got some cute flannels too. Look at the little space guys. I'm always looking for kid quilt kind of things, right?
Mm.
So I mean that's always a lot of fun. Let's see. Notions. Let's look at notions. What do you have?
I love notions, so I actually carry a lot of notions. Not a ton of fabric, but a lot of notions.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these notions are really good. Like the diagonal seam, the yeah, ironing board cover. Yeah, that's probably need one of
Have
those.
you heard of the fine line glue tips?
The fine line glue tips, where are they? They down further?
They are gonna be in glue basting in the menu on the left.
Oh, glue basting. Let's do glue basting.
Yeah. I'll scroll up a bit. You're at the bottom there.
Bottom.
And it should be at the very top.
Yes,
Keep
the
going.
sew line glue. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got those.
So see those orange and white fine line glue tips?
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
go on Elmer's glue bottles and they give you so much control. So you can get just a nice fine little bead. And I have just fallen in love with putting Elmer's in my Notion pile there because I can like glue base my binding on, I can
yeah.
match prints. So like the quilt behind me, I matched all the seams, the long seams here. I got all my centers matched because I glue basted them before I sewed them. So that's one of
Yeah.
my favorite notions that's in the shop.
My favorite notions here in the gluing is the Soline glue pen and the glue sticks, but
Mhm.
also this acorn seam align gentle hold glue. That
Great.
is a really lovely product, and I believe those people are out of Manitoba, Canada. I believe.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I met them at a trade show one year, and I was very impressed with their
Ooh.
products. So, and you have markings and pins. We could be here for a while.
I
So
love notions. We've got all my favorite notions. So I add notions to the shop as I come up with a new pattern and I'm like, "Oh, it needs this notion. We don't have it." So that's where the notions come from
So you also do workshop and lecture info. So you're talking to guilds, right? And you're running workshops with them. Yeah, and
all
it's
the
just
time.
like, isn't that wow? Some of those are like curve piecing, foundation paper piecing, reverse applique, like all of these lectures, yes. So many people I'm doing right now, I'm doing quilt bingo. We're filming quilt bingo and we're trying to get these people to master some of these techniques, right? Like partial piecing, curve, foundation. Yeah, this is just gorgeous. Oh yes, you have all sorts of fun. Looks like you're having fun with inset circles. Or
I
yeah,
do a lot of curved piecing, and so I teach that a lot with traditional kind of methods to do curved piecing and then reverse applique to make small, tight curves.
yes. Yeah, that the tighter I always say that the bigger the curve, the easier it is to sew. And
Yeah,
the more wiggle room you have, right? So
absolutely.
so you have lots of video tutorials here on your website as well. Oh,
Yeah,
that
that takes you
takes
to
right
my
to my
YouTube.
YouTube. And you
Mhm.
have 37 videos. Wow, that's pretty good. That is awesome, actually. And we've got your video shorts, and you also do shorts.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done short. I did one short. I got to learn how to do shorts. Yeah, these are,
Well,
I know.
I'm already posting them on like Instagram and TikTok, so I just started putting them on YouTube too, and it's great.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
All right, and was there, we should go back. Can we go back? Yes. No, we can't go back. Can we go back?
On your other tab there.
It should let us go back. There we go. Boom. There. Now we go big. Yeah, so it looks like there's, and you also got how to buy wholesale contact. Yeah, like there's lots on here. There's a lot of things on here. So that's really cool. But and you also do retreats and classes. That
Hmm.
that's important too. You know, these retreats and classes are always so much fun. I would like to go to a retreat one time, but every time they run a retreat around here, I'm so busy I haven't got time to take a retreat. So, but yeah, this looks like it would be lots of fun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm teaching at Stitch in Heaven in March. So that's the one you're looking at there.
Right here, yeah.
And that's in Texas. They have a big, beautiful retreat center. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that one. Oh, and then you have a curved one here in Tennessee. Wow, that's
Hmm. I'm
very,
flying to Tennessee real soon. We're gonna have a great time.
yeah, these are, yeah, the retreats are such a great idea. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for now, unless there's something you want to point out in your website that we haven't looked at, that we haven't taken a peek.
You hit it.
I hit them all? Okay. All right. Let's see. I have, oh, okay, we're back.
Yay.
Oh, so you do have a really, it seems like you have quite the online presence there, and that's that and we looked at your presence and how to get your classes and all this. That was really cool. Now, there's one thing I just love. I love being told stories by quilters, right? And other YouTubers. So I want you to tell me and my viewers a happy story about quilting in your journey or your business or your YouTube channel. Tell us a happy story.
So I went to Quilt Market in October, and Quilt Market is in Houston, just like Quilt Festival, but it's the business to business side of the show. And it happens right before festival. And I was there. I did a schoolhouse where I do like a little presentation about my products and my patterns, and then I had a booth. And it's not a very like busy show. There's not gazillions of people, which is really nice because then you can take your time one-on-one and really talk to people. And this adorable woman came into my booth, and her name is Rachel Rossi, and she is a new fabric designer with Benartex. And we got to talking. She grew up in a quilt shop. She has little girls. And so we just had a lot to talk about. And I really wanted to see her very first fabric line, which was just being released. So she ran back to the Benartex booth and got the little lookbook with all her fabric in it. But that's not all she brought back. She also came back with Maria Elena, who's the marketing director of Benartex.
Okay.
And she comes up to me and she kind of looks around my booth and then she looks me right in the eyes and she goes, Jen, I need you. And I said, okay, for what? How can I help you? And she says, I need you to be a Benartex ambassador next year. And like, I've been busy raising kids and working in healthcare. So I turn to her and I say, what's that? I had no clue. And so she told me about the program, and I had to fill out the application, so I filled it out that very night. And because of that, I have gotten to be a Better Tex ambassador this year and just had an incredible experience playing with their fabric and getting to know their team and working together. It's been fabulous.
Yeah, I bet you that because you got get some beautiful, your hands on beautiful fabric before it's released to anybody else. That's right. See, I work
Mhm.
with scraps, right? I work with, donations, so I never know what I'm going to get in my sewing room. But yeah, I can't remember now which fabric company approached me, and I thought, I have more fabric than I know what to do with. I don't need any more.
I had the opposite problem. I worked for so long, I would only buy the fabric for a specific project I was working on. I really didn't have a stash a few years ago. So this has been good for me to have fabric mailed to me.
Yes, yeah, I suppose, yeah, that you could look at it that way. Meanwhile, I've got shelves and shelves of fabric, and it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, okay. Now, tell us a sad story. Tell us a story that's going to just go make us all go, oh.
Um, so when I look at the moon, to me, it reminds me of women because it cycles every month just like women do.
Yeah,
And also, when the moon is full, I don't know why, but everyone's water breaks. And so it creates just this chaotic night of delivering babies all night long. And so when I was no longer delivering babies, I really, really missed my patients and their families and my coworkers. And so I made a quilt, my Many Moons quilt, which we looked at on the website there just a little bit ago, as a way to remember all of those incredible women that I was really lucky to take care of.
yeah,
Um, so I found that through designing and making a quilt, it really helped me transition and kind of process the loss. I mean, it was a loss to have to step away. It was the right thing to do at the time, but man, it was hard. And so that quilt's really special to me because it just is a way to really remember all those incredible people from that time in my life.
yeah. It's retiring as well as a life event. I mean, you went through a event walking away from a profession that you were involved in almost 20 years, That
Yeah,
it's definitely a loss, but
yeah,
you're coping well by, putting it into your creations. That's just a beautiful, beautiful and bittersweet, story to tell.
bittersweet.
I didn't know that about women. You were like a maternity nurse or a midwife. So yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know that about women. Maybe I should check when my kids were born, what phase the moon it was, right? It's like, wow.
I I tell you, everybody's water breaks that's due when the moon is full. It happens.
Okay. Well, mine, I don't know. I will have to check my daughters to see what phase moon it was those days that they were born. Okay, now, if you have three good tips, I mean, the best tips you can think of for a beginner, like somebody's just starting out, because in when I'm in my channel, we have a lot of people that have been quilting for years, but we also have a lot of beginners that, just like, oh, that's how you do it. Or this, like, wow, it's about time somebody showed me how to do that, that kind of, those kind of comments. What three tips would you give a beginner quilter?
So I love curves. So I'm going to give you three tips for doing curves.
Okay.
Tip number one is cut them accurately. And so if you think about curves like pie, we have filling and we have crust in a pie. Well, we have the same thing in a curve. We have the circle that's inside, and then we have the piece that's the background around it. So we have filling and crust. And if we were to go home, or well, I'm already home, if I went downstairs and I baked a pie, but it was overfilled, it would just be a disaster. It would boil over, and I'm upstairs in my sewing room not paying attention, so the smoke alarm's going off. Um, and so we don't want to overfill a real pie. But with circles, we need to overfill a fabric pie.
Yeah.
And so we always want to cut our filling, our circle piece, bigger than our background or our pie crust. We need a lot of filling with a small hole. And if we can do that, then we have room for a seam allowance and it'll fit together. And oftentimes people accidentally cut them the same size and then they don't fit. And so cut them accurately with more filling.
Cut, and it's not even cut the size of the square accurately, because I always leave a little wiggle room on the outside, right? But cutting
Mhm.
the curve accurately, because sometimes you'll see fullness because they went, instead of going a nice smooth curve that kind of bubbled out and then came back in, and it was like, cutting accurately, cutting the curve, the slope of the curve accurately, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tip number two.
Yeah, tip number two.
Tip number two is to glue baste your curve. Because if you can take that little sew line glue pen, the one that we looked at before on the website, it's nice and narrow and it's really tacky. And so I can divide up that pie into slices and then glue baste one little slice at a time. And that way it's one, it's very accurate. And two, when I go to my sewing machine to sew it, I've already done the work to fit the pieces together and it sews so much easier.
Yeah, that I we're doing a thing on inset circles on Quilt Bingo. And it's like one, you do your quarters and then you do your eighths,
Mm-hmm.
and you only worry about the 1/8 at a time around the curve, right? So
That's
yes,
right. One slice of pie.
one slice of pie, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Tip number three. You want number three?
Yeah.
Number three is if you have a speedometer on your machine, set it at half when you're doing a curve.
Yeah.
Because that way, when you stitch it, you have more control with your pedal, and you really want to go slow and take your time with a curve. And people think I'm crazy. They're like, seriously, turn your speed down? I'm like, yes. And then they're like, oh, you're right. This is so much easier. So
Yeah, it's
works
not a
great.
race. It's not a race.
I not a race. Now, when I'm doing my straight seams, I go back to fast, but when I'm doing my curves, I bump it down to half.
Yeah, it's so much easier like that slower speed because you're doing so much adjusting as you're bringing those seams together. Yeah, you shouldn't be going fast. They Have you ever tried those curve foot for your sewing machines? Have you
Oh,
tried?
yeah.
And are
Yeah.
they worth the money or no?
So it depends on your project. If you need a curve to be super accurate, without practice, I don't think it's a good option. But let's say you are making a whole bunch of drunkard path blocks, you're gonna square them all up when you're done. You can zoom through them so fast with, I use the Curve Master foot. It's a Martelli foot, and it fits on any machine. So we actually use it in my classes. And so it's really great for speed because you don't have to pin or glue baste and you don't have to like slice your pie like we were talking about dividing up your pie. You can just cut your curves and then sew them together.
Just a minute, Martelli, right? Martelli.
Yeah, it's called Curve Master.
Curve Master, okay. And I have a slant shank on my 301s, and I'm wondering.
Mm.
I've heard like I like doing curves. I curves don't bother me, but I think it would be nice to do, show people how those because people shy away from curves. They're like, there's so many blocks. Once you master curves, there's so many beautiful blocks you can make, right? With those curves. But people are like, I don't like curves because they don't may not have the right foot to do the curve, right? So
The
yeah.
other reason I think people are afraid of curves is because when you go to sew it, you put your filling and then your pie crust, and that pie crust wrinkles when you're putting them right sides together, and that scares people because as quilters we want things so flat and so perfect, and you look at this and you're like, how is this ever going to turn out flat? And
Or
so it creates this kind of anxiety, but I feel like once you've tried it and you kind of get used to it, it doesn't scare you anymore.
yeah, when you're doing melons, I was sewing melons yesterday to get ready for class that we're filming here, a lesson that we're filming, and they all pop up like that. As you're
Hmm.
sewing them through, and everybody's like, that
Ah!
doesn't look good. Yeah, it's
I
okay.
just keep telling people it's going to be okay. Just keep going. It'll be okay. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I know. It's funny how, but yeah, it's people shy away from curves, yet there's so many gorgeous, gorgeous blocks.
And
Like,
I don't want people to be afraid of curves. They're totally doable in quilting.
yeah, well, I see. I went from quilting as a kid because my neighbor lady gave me a quilt block for my doll when I was 5,
How
and
cute.
then was sewing Barbie clothes, and you have curve sewing there, right? And you're doing your curve, and then you're sewing your, like from the arm down and all the rest of the stuff, right? Like so, sewing when you're sewing clothes, you're sewing curves.
All the
Like,
time.
people don't freak out when you're sewing clothes when you're doing.
Yeah. Well, see, I had the same background. I grew up sewing clothing, and so when I started writing patterns and putting curves in, I had no idea that quilters were so afraid of curves. To me, it was just like, okay, I'm just putting a sleeve on. It's okay.
It's okay, yeah, I know. Or what's the other one that everybody shies away? Y seams. Y seams, you can make so many beautiful blocks if you master Y seams, right? But maybe we have to. I ran a curves boot camp a couple of years ago on my channel, and we had curve, pattern after curve pattern, and people were like, "Oh God, please no, please."
Send them my way. I love the curves.
Yes, but yes, that glue, that soul line glue does work if you're doing, I find it doesn't. It's right handy here too. Just a minute, let me grab some. Here, hang on.
Yeah,
Okay, I got my EPP box. Now, this soul line glue.
that's
And
the stuff.
now the other thing that works really well is the small Elmer's glue sticks.
Hmm.
And in September, you can pick them up at Office Depot or Staples or some of these, office supply companies, and they're quite cheap and they wash out. They are
Yep,
either purple or yellow inside, and when they're dry, they're clear, right? So,
yep.
yeah, like you can do lots very quickly with these. And here is my pen. And all the pens,
Yay.
the Fonz and Porter pen fits the Soul Line. Like you don't need the Soul Line pen to all of the pens are universal with this, right? So
So they're refillable. The nice thing about the Soline glue is it's narrow. And so when I'm doing a curve, I can keep it in the seam allowance without getting it everywhere. And
yeah,
sometimes I have people complain that it's not sticking. And so what I have found is that once you put the glue on, I smush it, like I'll just finger press the fabric layers together, and then the glue it sticks beautifully. You just got to
yeah,
push it in a smidge.
yeah, that's yeah, because you've got more control with this than you do the Elmer's glue stick that I just showed you. But yeah,
Mhm.
they're they're
If you've got like a little gap where it's glued on both sides and you need to get in there, it just makes it easier with that little narrow pen to get in there.
Yeah, that acorn system though works beautifully too, right? Because it's got that really almost a needle fine tip on it, and you can just put little drops in, and yeah, and you're done pretty much. So yeah, but that's
Yeah.
yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do for curves. I mean, curves are such a unique thing, and they have they do. Did you ever see what was it there? The improv curves where they just take their rotary
Hmm.
cutter and they
Hmm.
just cut a hand curve, and then they put two 10-inch squares on top of each other and they cut the hand curve, and they sew one to the other, and then they've got this 3/8 on either side that they trim off. Like
Yep.
I thought, yeah, that's a really simple improv curve design, and you can make some beautiful quilts, and you don't have to limit yourself to just one cut. You can do, a
More.
couple of different cuts once you got your blocks. I mean, the blocks get smaller and smaller the more you cut, but I mean, they're really, you can get some really interesting designs out of that.
Mhm.
But yeah, okay. Anything else? Anything else you want to say to the viewers? Or your viewers are going to be watching too, I hope, and our viewers, my viewers. Like, you got anything else you would like to say?
Um, would you have any more questions? I
No,
felt like we missed some, but maybe we didn't.
no, we got all of the important. Oh, other than what is it like to run an online business? I mean, but
You work really hard and you have a lot of fun.
you do? Is it really? Yeah, I don't run an online business. I often wonder about that, but yeah. Okay.
It takes up a lot of space in your house. So thankfully, all my kids have their own apartments now. So there's a little bit of room for a business in our house.
Yes. Yes. I have a sewing room because my children moved when my kids moved out. Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
but I think, yeah, we answered all the questions. So yeah,
Great.
so much fun having you here today, Jennifer. Thank you for coming out for a quick little interview, and we'll get this video up and posted on my channel. So I anybody who's watching, whether you're Jennifer's viewers or my viewers, please hit that like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, all the rest of the stuff for both of us. We would enjoy your company as well, and your comments. Put your comments down about what kind of videos you think this is. Okay, so. All right, you guys, take care and stay well until we see each other again. Jennifer, say goodbye.
Thank you so much for having me, Brenda. Happy
Okay,
quilting, everyone.
bye. My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay, take care. Bye.